During a normal dream, we usually accept the most bizarre events as reality without question. Lucid dreaming is a state of consciousness where a person becomes aware that they are dreaming while they are still asleep. However, in a lucid dream, the part of your brain responsible for logical reasoning, called the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, becomes more active than usual during sleep. This allows you to realize that the environment around you is a creation of your own mind. Once this awareness kicks in, many people find they can intentionally influence the dream, such as choosing to fly or visiting a specific place. This experience typically happens during the rapid eye movement or REM stage of sleep, which is when most of our vivid dreaming occurs. Researchers have confirmed the existence of lucid dreaming by having participants move their eyes in a specific, prearranged pattern while they're deep in sleep. Since the muscles of the body are paralyzed during REM to prevent us from acting out our dreams, the eyes remain one of the few parts that can move. These eye signals act as a bridge of communication, proving that the dreamer is consciously aware while their body remains asleep and their brain waves show they are still in a dream state. Many people use lucid dreaming as a way to practice skills or face their fears in a safe, controlled environment, because the brain processes the actions in a dream similarly to how it processes them in real life. An athlete might visualize a specific move, or a musician might practice a melody while dreaming. This mental rehearsal can actually lead to improvements in physical performance once they wake up. Additionally, for people who suffer from recurring nightmares, becoming lucid can be a powerful tool. By realizing the threat is not real, they can confront the source of their fear or simply change the scenery to something more peaceful. There are several techniques people use to increase their chances of having a lucid dream. One of the most common is called a reality check. This involves questioning whether you are awake or dreaming several times throughout the day. You might try to push your hand through a solid wall or look at a clock twice to see if the time stays the same. By making this a habit during the day, your brain is more likely to perform the same check while you are dreaming. When the wall feels soft or the clock numbers start to scramble, you suddenly realize that you are in a dream world, opening the door to a lucid experience. The biological triggers for a lucid dream often involve a delicate balance between different neurotransmitters in the brain. During normal sleep, levels of acetylcholine are high, while levels of serotonin and norepinephrine are low. Acetylcholine is responsible for the vividness and complexity of dreams, but without the other chemicals, the critical thinking centers of our brain remain offline. In a lucid dream, there's a sudden spike in activity within the frontal lobes that introduces a level of wakeful logic into the dream state. This creates a hybrid state of consciousness that is neither fully awake nor fully asleep, but a unique combination of both. Another key biological factor is the gamma wave activity in the brain. Research has shown that when a person becomes lucid, their brain waves shift toward a frequency of around 40 hertz, which is associated with high-level cognitive functions like memory and attention. This increase in gamma waves occurs specifically in the frontal and temporal regions of the brain. Some scientists have even experimented with using mild electrical stimulation on the scalp to induce these specific frequencies, which significantly increase the likelihood of participants becoming aware within their dreams. This suggests that lucidity is essentially a physical tuning of the brain to a specific frequency. The connection between lucid dreaming and problem solving is equally fascinating, because the dreaming brain is not constrained by the laws of physics or social norms. It can explore unconventional solutions to real-world problems. People who are frequent lucid dreamers often score higher on tests of creativity and insight. When you're lucid, you can consciously ask your dream environment to show you a new perspective on a difficult project or to represent a complex emotion as a physical object. This interactive dialogue with the subconscious can lead to breakthroughs that the rigid, logical waking mind might have missed. Furthermore, the emotional benefits of this state can linger long after you wake up. Successfully navigating a challenge or conquering a fear in a lucid dream can provide a boost in confidence that carries over into your daily life. The brain treats these dream victories as real experiences, reinforcing the neural pathways for courage and resilience. By mastering the internal world of the dream, you are effectively training your mind to handle the complexities of the external world with greater ease and flexibility. While lucid dreaming is a thrilling experience, trying to induce it too frequently can sometimes lead to disruptions in sleep quality. Because lucidity requires a higher level of brain activity in the prefrontal cortex, the brain is not getting the same level of deep, restorative rest that occurs during standard REM sleep. If you're constantly waking yourself up to perform reality checks or using the wake back to bed technique, you might find yourself feeling groggy or mentally exhausted the next day. This state of sleep fragmentation can interfere with memory consolidation and emotional regulation, which are the primary jobs of a healthy sleep cycle. There is also a rare but interesting phenomenon known as false awakenings that often occurs alongside lucid dreaming. This is when you dream that you have woken up, gotten out of bed, and started your morning routine, only to realize later that you were still asleep. For some, this can lead to a loop of multiple false awakenings that feels frustrating or disorienting. However, for an experienced lucid dreamer, a false awakening is actually a perfect opportunity to become lucid again. By performing a reality check the moment they think they have woken up, they can turn a potentially confusing loop into another conscious dream adventure. Throughout history, various cultures have viewed lucid dreaming with great reverence and used it for spiritual purposes. In Tibetan Buddhism, a practice known as dream yoga has existed for centuries. Practitioners are taught to maintain full awareness during sleep to realize the illusory nature of all reality. By mastering their dreams, they believe they can train the mind to remain stable during the transitions of life and death. For these monks, the dream world is not just a place for fun, but a serious training ground for the soul and a way to achieve a higher state of enlightenment. In the modern era, the scientific study of this topic continues to expand with the help of new technology. Some researchers are looking into how virtual reality might be used to train people to become lucid more easily by simulating the experience of shifting from a normal state to a dream-like one. As we learn more about the specific parts of the brain that allow us to stay awake while we sleep, we're gaining a better understanding of the very nature of human consciousness. It shows that the boundary between the waking world and the world of imagination is much thinner than we once believed. Sleep paralysis is a state where you are conscious but unable to move your body, often occurring at the boundary between waking and sleeping. This happens because your brain has not yet turned off the muscle atonia, the natural paralysis that prevents you from acting out your dreams during REM sleep. While your mind is awake and alert, your voluntary muscles remain locked. For many, this is accompanied by a heavy sensation on the chest or vivid hallucinations of a presence in the room, which can be quite terrifying if you do not understand the biological cause. However, in the world of sleep science, sleep paralysis is often viewed as a gateway to lucid dreaming. Because your mind is already awake while your body is in a deep state of REM, you are perfectly positioned to slide directly into a conscious dream. Instead of fighting the paralysis or panicking, which often intensifies the hallucinations, practitioners of lucid dreaming learn to remain calm and relax into the sensation. By focusing on a mental image or a specific sound, they can transition from the frozen state of their physical bed into the fluid environment of a lucid dream. This transition is known as a wake-initiated lucid dream, or WILD. During this process, you might experience intense vibrations, loud buzzing sounds, or the feeling of falling. These are known as hypnagogic sensations, and they indicate that your brain is shifting its sensory input from the external world to an internal one. If you can maintain your awareness through these strange sensations without fully waking up, the darkness behind your eyelids will eventually bloom into a fully realized dream world where you're already lucid and in control from the very first second. Understanding the link between these two states can turn a frightening experience into a productive one. When you realize that the shadows or sounds during sleep paralysis are just your brain starting to dream before your eyes are closed, the fear begins to fade. This shift in perspective allows you to use the biological quirk of paralysis as a launchpad for exploration. It highlights the incredible flexibility of the human brain and its ability to exist in multiple layers of consciousness at the same time, blending the physical reality of the body with the limitless potential of the mind. The reason some people experience terrifying hallucinations during sleep paralysis while others feel neutral or even blissful is linked to the amygdala, the brain center for processing fear. When you are in this state, your amygdala is often hyper-responsive. If you feel a natural instinctual panic because you cannot move, your brain tries to find a reason for that fear. It often invents a threat, like a shadow or a presence, to explain why you feel endangered. This is essentially your brain creating a narrative to match your physical state of high arousal and restricted movement. To navigate this and move into a lucid dream, many people use specific breathing techniques. The most effective method is to maintain slow, shallow, and regular breaths. Since your breathing is one of the few autonomic functions you can still feel, focusing on its rhythm acts as an anchor for your consciousness. If you start to panic, your breathing becomes jagged, which alerts the brain to stay in a state of high alert. By keeping your breath steady, you signal to your nervous system that you are safe, which lowers the intensity of scary hallucinations and allows the dream environment to stabilize around you. Another technique involves focusing on a specific physical sensation, such as the feeling of your body floating or spinning. Because your brain is no longer receiving accurate data from your stationary limbs, it is highly susceptible to suggested movement. If you mentally lean into the sensation of floating upward, your brain will often generate a dream scene where you're flying or rising out of your bed. This shift in focus from the paralyzed physical body to a moving dream body is often the final step in successfully launching a lucid dream from a state of paralysis. Once you successfully make this transition, the heavy and oppressive feeling of paralysis instantly vanishes. You find yourself in a world that feels as solid and real as the waking one, but with the knowledge that you are the architect of the experience. This transition serves as a powerful reminder of the mind capacity to transform a moment of vulnerability and fear into one of total freedom and creativity. By mastering the entry point of sleep paralysis, you effectively turn a biological glitch into a doorway for self-discovery and mental mastery.